Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Get Busy with Bradley Zink. I'm San Diego children's book author Bradley Zink. Thank you all for tuning in. Before I get to today's podcast, I'd like to reach out and thank my today's musical sponsor, which is In the Mix 777, and that was a soundbite from their single Resist. Thank you greatly for all you guys do, and thanks for supporting the show and sponsoring us this week. So as I mentioned last week, I'm working simultaneously on 4 different books. I was up till almost 3 in the morning working on the Corvette book. I'm trying to get finished by the 1st of August, so it gives me 5 more days to complete it. Out of the 70 years of pictorial history for the Corvettes, I've got 64 of the 70 years already covered, just waiting on getting 6 more, including the illustrious 1983 Corvette, where there's only one in the world ever, to exist, and that's at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So I'm hoping that they'll respond to my email soon and hopefully submit the picture so I can have a complete book of all 70 years of the glorious Corvette by Chevrolet. Thumbing through all of my emails, trying to sort them last night and early into this morning. I still have like 75 more submissions to go for the books. Keep those submissions for the Corvettes of all the different generations coming in. I greatly appreciate it, guys. I came across an email with a question of the show, which, I'm always, happy to receive emails from my viewers, and even happier to answer any questions you have about the publishing industry and how I got into it, or, any tips or suggestions that I might have that you need, or even just, assistance in, navigating the website that I use to publish my books, KDP Online. But anyway, this question was posed about someone had been looking into all the different articles and different interviews that I've done over the years, and how I've done free book readings for well over 50,000 children now in Southern California, from Barrio Logan all the way up to Watts, California. They asked me, how were you able to reach so many people and be able to share your books with so many people over such a short span of time? I thought that was a wonderful question. I think I got to that email about like 2 in the morning, so my response might not have been very fluid and understandable. So hopefully I'll be able to, explain it a little bit further to you and everyone that's tuning in today, of how I was able to reach so many people in such a short period of time. Bear with me a sec. So it all comes down to knowing your target audience. You've already got your book done, you've already written it, you've already published it. Now it's getting word of mouth, getting the exposure, getting your book into as many people's hands as you intend to as an author. You have to know your target audience. For me, that's an easy one. I write children's books predominantly, so my target audience is children. So once you've identified your main group or your main target audience, now search out where the best possible places are to be able to reach the largest amount of your target audience as possible. For me, that's, again, it was an easy one. It's schools and libraries. 2 of the largest places where you can reach a large group of children simultaneously by going through the administration, about all the different schools that I've visited, all the different libraries. I believe to date I've visited over 300 schools and libraries throughout Southern California, doing free book readings, like I said, to over 50,000 children. Once I had finished, the first book, Love a Dove, and I did free book readings right there at my son's elementary school for all the kindergarten classes. They have 4 kindergarten classes at the time, so I, offered to do a free book reading of Love a Dove for each of the classes, and the reception from the kids and the teachers was very uplifting and very great to see how excited they were to have an author come in, read a story to them, introduce them to animals that they've probably never seen before, especially at that young age. in the time that I had written that first book, I mulled over doing a second book, and that's how I came up with the one that I do all my free book readings and seed planting demonstrations, which is it starts with the seed. Um, it features basically the life cycle of the fruits and vegetables that we eat on a daily basis, or hopefully eat on a daily basis, starting from seed all the way to harvest, and teaching kids the different materials that are needed, like sun, water, soil, the different growth stages, like the seed, the sprout, uh, pollination stage, the fruiting stage, and then harvest stage. Then after I've done all the book readings with the children, I would do a free seed planting demonstration, where we'd plant sunflower seeds so the kids could take something with them after the book reading home, and watch a plant grow right before their eyes at their own home. Um, in reaching out with just started with the school district here in San Marcos, the San Marcos Unified School District. Just went to their webpage and found all the different elementary schools that were in the area, and sent an email to basically all of the teachers, all of the different administrators, like the principal, vice principals of the schools, for just here locally in San Marcos. Um, every school responded back, thank you. Went and visited each and one of the schools, and just every book reading, it just became more and more fascinating to me to see, just the enjoyment in the children's eyes, and how happy the teachers and administration was to have me come in and do, spend my time doing book readings, teaching kids about how fruits and vegetables grow. Um, so I expanded my market group, if you will, and started just grabbing did a search of San Diego County and all the different school districts, and again found all the elementary schools, reached out to hundreds of them. Um, Same with libraries that are always offering programs for children, especially during the summertime. Um, and the great thing about offering free book readings for kids is I, you know, yes, I have not gotten responses from some groups. It's not 100% guarantee that you're going to get a response, but every response that I had, well over 300, was all yes, that would be wonderful, and they'd send me times and dates that they would like me to come and share my books and my readings and my seed planting demos with the children. Um, it was a great experience, especially being a slight introvert. It's hard for me to just go into like groups and just start talking, and also having a lot of being the center of attention. It's what's great about being a children's book author. Children are not only attentive, but I'm just so they think a lot differently than us, because they have a more pure, simple mind that they they're they're very eloquent in how they ask questions, and the excitement that they show in doing the book readings. It's just a pleasure to do all of this. Hence the reason why I do it all for free. Um, to help nurture them, and get them interested in being in school, get them interested in books and reading and learning about different things. Um, from the schools and the libraries, I reached out then to different nonprofit organizations that assist kids, like Traveling Stories here in San Diego County, a great organization, where they have different story tents, pre-pandemic, where children would come on disclosed days during the week, at farmers markets or different locations where they do a pop-up tent, have a library of books for the kids to read, while their parents shop or what have you. They get incentives for reading every book. They get little fictional dollars that they could then spend and turn in those dollars for prizes. So it was another great opportunity to captivate children and get them interested in reading. And it's a great program. Look them up, Traveling Stories. It's a great institution. They're still throughout San Diego County doing virtual learning online for kids. While we still are going through a pandemic and what have you, for the safety reason of the children, and also the instructors that they have, and they have a lot of one-on-one that they work with children throughout San Diego County. So they work on donations, so please check out Traveling Stories and help out if you can. That would be great. Um, anyway, to get back to my marketing technique and strategy, and knowing your your target audience, after doing all of the different book readings, um, like I said, reaching out to different groups that foster to children in reading, and especially started just reaching out to different nonprofit organizations, offering to my services at different events that they would have, offering to do free book reading, seed planting demos throughout the days for the children. Um, and the great thing about nonprofits, especially when they're doing their events, is they work on donations specifically. So having somebody offering free services for one of their events, they greatly appreciate it. So I got tons of yeses for that, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with hundreds of different nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Hence the reason why I was able to, help raise over $500,000 for schools, libraries, nonprofit organizations, throughout San Diego and LA County. I have an easy approach simply for the fact that my target audience being children, and 1 in 3 people in the U.S. is a child. So it's I have a great large amount of target audience for my books. And then when you couple it with all the different organizations that work with children, it's been an easier approach for me to be able to market my books, to be able to get my books into tens of thousands of hands just here locally in Southern California. Being with the KDP Online and Amazon.com, and the 28,000 online book retailers, I've been able to sell books all around the world, never having to leave my home, which makes it simple and easy approach. You just need to, once you get those links, continually market. Find the groups that you are targeting, and join a bunch of Facebook groups, social media groups. Look locally where you live, and find organizations that specifically cater to your niche group that you're trying to market to. There's a great many approaches to marketing. Another technique that I have, once I've found my niche of approaching schools and offering free book readings, I also do fundraise, and that's how I've helped raise over $500,000. It was named by the California State Senate in 2018, California State Hero. Is finding ways to not only offer my free services, but also fundraising services and fundraising opportunities for all these schools, libraries, nonprofit organizations that I've worked with over the years. And at the same time, continue to come up with different ways to continue writing books, so that way you don't get stagnant. You don't want to just sit on the 1 or 2 books that you've done. You want to continually bring more new material, so that way you can expand your audience more and more. I started with animals and plants. I've gotten into the history of money, the history of the automobile. I'm working, like I said, on the history of the Corvette. Continually expand. Once you find your market group, continually expand that group further and further and further. And one of the greatest ways to do it is continually come up with new material that targets that main group of customers, but also at the same time expands it to another portion of those customers that might not have fallen in your main category to begin with. One of the examples that I would like to share. We're going to wrap this up here because I know my producer's got some plans all week long. He's a busy guy doing 3 podcasts now, so congratulations. Joe, can't do any of this without you, and none of us could. Anyhow, one of the ways that I've helped further expand my fundraising opportunities for schools and nonprofit organizations is I've been a member of the Oceanside Moose Lodge for 7 to 8 years now. Great group of guys. They raise tens of thousands of dollars for local organizations, especially children. They offer scholarships to local children. Um, a great organization, a great nonprofit organization to be a part of, and they're a great group of guys. Um, One of the things that I did for them is I created the Oceanside Moose Lodge Family Cookbook. Did this one back in 2017 for them. And it basically, I started with a basic concept of, what a cookbook has. Little back history. I've been cooking for my family. I was taught at the age of 6 how to cook. I fell in love with it. Growing up as a kid, a lot of kids would watch Saturday morning cartoons, which I did, but I also loved, watching PBS and cooking shows. Martin Yan and Yan Can Cook, Jeff Smith, The Frugal Gourmet, Emeril Lagasse. Grew up watching them. Paul Prudhomme, falling in love with, recipes and, different cooking techniques and different foods to experience, which, helped come into play in creating this book. So I started just taking what the basic cookbooks have: appetizer section, soups and salads, beef, pork, chicken, fish, desserts, cocktails, and then kids recipes. Started with just about 1 or 2 recipes for each one of those categories as a foundation for the book, and then had the different members contribute their own personal recipes. And so I was able to put out a cookbook featuring, I think I have 3 or 4 dozen recipes. Just to give you a quick example, like bacon deviled eggs under appetizers. For pork, Italian breaded pork chops. For fish, pecan crusted tilapia. Cocktails, even sparkling citrus cocktail. Kids recipes, which is a really, really fun section. Teaching kids how to cook, which is a great learning experience for them, and it helps them as they get older in life. Cheesy Parmesan popcorn or pepperoni roll-ups, simple little recipes that you can also involve your children in. The book worked out great for them, and I've had the opportunity also to share this concept of a cookbook as a fundraising opportunity with dozens of schools. I think I've done about 30 or 40 different schools in Southern California, privately publishing cookbooks, utilizing their logo for their school. For my son's old elementary school, we did one featuring the coyote, and then carry that animal theme of their mascot throughout the entire book. Renaming some of the recipes to fall in line with that, to make it fun. It's one of the opportunities that I have of also not only creating new books, but also helping my target audience, which is children, raise money to further their education, to further their passion for books, and to further their passion for helping others. It's a great opportunity for all to have. So if you happen to have like a school or work with a school here locally, or with a nonprofit organization, and would like to take part in me doing up a free book for your group or your school of a cookbook, with school starting next month. Thank goodness, it's been a long summer. Here's a great, fantastic opportunity for PTOs and different different organizations throughout, like the high schools, like the football team or the cheerleading squad or drama club. If you guys would like to get together and put together a cookbook for your school or for your organization, just reach out to me. After Radio Joe does his, he can do a podcast for you. By the way, he's just recently picked up a 3rd podcast, so he's producing 3 different shows simultaneously, but he has room to be able to do more. The guy's multi-talented and is a guru behind the scenes. Hopefully one day we'll be able to have him as a guest on the show, because he's also a great personality to have. So that's a thought for you, Joe. But to plug you, please email San Diego Radio Joe at gmail.com if you'd like to have a podcast like mine. Check out his other 2 podcasts that he has going on during the week. And if you have an idea for a podcast, reach out to him. But anyway, There it is. Um, but anyway, getting back to it, if you'd like to do like a cookbook or a school, based or your nonprofit organization do a book for you, you reach out to me at authorbradleyzink@gmail.com. I'm always available, no matter how busy I sound and seem. I'm always available to help others publish books, especially to help raise money for organizations and especially for the children. They are our future. Um, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up with that today for the show. Let Radio Joe get out of here because he's got a bunch more, you know, podcasts to start, cutting together and posting for his other show hosts. On top of having a full time job and a family life, the guy can do it all. So thanks again, Joe. I don't think I ever tell you enough how much I appreciate everything you do for me and all the other guys that you're doing podcasts for, and everybody that you reach with. He also helps do the marketing for it and plugging the shows. So he offers a great service for anybody who wants to do a podcast. Say it again, yes. So contact San Diego Radio Joe at sanDiegoRadioJoe@gmail.com, and he too can help you do a podcast. And help reach, it's another great thing for other authors locally and abroad, to be able to help reach a larger audience, discussing not only your books, but your skill, your craft, your trade. Um, you know, there's tons of ideas out there for doing shows and for doing books. That's his hint that he wants to wrap it up. Gotcha, big guy. He also is great at doing subtle hints. So, he'll walk you through every step of the way of doing the podcast. And I also love the private chats that he can do too. But anyway, that's it for this week for Get Busy with Bradley Zink. I appreciate you all for tuning in and watching this week's episode. Next week, I hope to have a guest on the show. Fingers crossed. If not, I hope to be unveiling my two completed books, the History of the Corvette book, as well as my how to publish for free online utilizing KDP Online Publishing. So until then, have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time on Get Busy with Bradley Zink. Take care.